Trying to explain boss fights in less than a minute is a pretty massive challenge for me, but let's see if I can do it. These guides will be located actually in my Discord as well, along with some other useful tools. Also, feel free to use the timeline to jump to whichever boss you're interested in. Also, be sure to hit that like button if you end up enjoying this video. Let's dive in. Starting things off, we have Melidrussa Chillworn. She will constantly barrage the tank with Frigid Shard. As of now, this is actually coded as frost damage, so tanks, you're going to want to keep this in mind when choosing different talents for this dungeon. Hail bombs will also rain down throughout the fight. Just don't get hit by them. Once they land, they will actually spawn crystals that will deal damage if you come into contact with them, so beware of that as well. Melidrussa will also target a player with Chillstorm, which should be ran away from your group. Once the debuff falls off, the Chillstorm will actually pull players towards its location before erupting, which will then push players away. This only becomes dangerous if you are near any of the Hail Bomb crystals. Lastly, Melidrussa will summon whelps to assist her. Tank these on top of her because at the same time she'll be casting Frost Overload. This mechanic does major ticking damage until it is interrupted. You need to break the shield in order to actually kick this cast, so make sure you save your damage cooldowns for this. Last but not least, healers, make sure you're dispelling the Primal Chill debuff before it reaches 8 stacks. After your set of whelps die, this fight is just a simple rinse and repeat. The whole premise of this fight is ad control. For the most part, your group will want to cleave down Kokia while focusing any of the Blazebound Firestorms. While the Blazebound Firestorm is actually active, you're going to want to make sure you interrupt any cast that you can. During the encounter, Kokia will attempt to send out Molten Boulders towards a random player. You're going to want to do your best to bait these towards the side of the room. Both Molten Boulders as well as the Blazebound Firestorms will create Scorched Earth, which are zones that will cause anyone in them to burn for fire damage. This is a mythic only mechanic. Lastly, tanks, beware of the Searing Blows cast. This can do a high level of damage if you aren't paying attention. The whole idea of this fight is to rotate around the entire upper ring of the life pools. After enough ad control, Kokia will eventually fall. This is an extremely odd 2-target boss fight. During the first phase, Kyrakka the dragon will fly around the boss arena attempting to hit players with fire breath while occasionally landing. She will always land near a player, so I recommend trying to stay grouped up. Taking any fire damage will apply a debuff called Inferno Core, which will cause the player to take heavy periodic damage. When this debuff expires though, it will also leave fire patches nearby. If you happen to walk into these pools, you'll have actually spawned more through a new Inferno Core, so do your absolute best to avoid all fire damage during this encounter. Tanks, you need to look out for the Storm Slam cast from Erkhart. Each stack of this will make you take more damage from the next subsequent cast. Healers, for the love of God, please dispel this. Also, Winds of Change will randomly be cast, pushing both players and fire patches in the direction of the winds. Once Erkhart hits roughly 45% health, he will then mount Kyrakka, and now both of these bosses will be active. Whichever boss you want to focus is up to you and your group. Kyrakka is definitely going to cause your group to take more damage as a whole, but Erkhart can easily push your tank's health to 0. Either way, try to stay grouped up and avoid fire at all costs. Best of luck. If you ended up enjoying this video, show that like button some love. I post mythic dungeon and tank content fairly regularly, so if that's something that interests you, consider subscribing. Huge shout out to all my Patreons who give their actual real money to support my channel. Without them, there'd be much less of, well, whatever you call this. Hope you're all staying happy, healthy, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.